Good luck.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün Kanada'nın Gözde Üniversitelerinden Royal Roads University Master Programları ve Kanada'da Yaşamı Brooke'dan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Brooke, the stage is yours now.
Thank you, Zainab. Hello, Tariq. Thanks for everyone for joining today. My name is Brooke and I work at Royal Roads University. So what I'll do is share my screen with you and we will get started here. Display settings. Okay. So my name is Brooke and I work at Royal Roads University. And today we're going to talk about graduate level master's programs that we offer at the university. This is a photo of our university when you first arrive. It's quite a beautiful place, and what you can kind of see in the distance is the ocean, and it's a really peaceful environment to work at. At Royal Roads, we do want to acknowledge that we live, learn, and work on the traditional lands of the Esquimalt and Songhees families. It's really important to us. Today, I will go over where and who Royal Roads is, a bit of program overview, walk you through the application process, and then leave time for questions. I'll try not to take too long. So we are located in Victoria, British Columbia, which is the far, far, far west side of our gigantic country. Canada has 37 million people. Vancouver Island, which we are located on an island, has 750,000. And Greater Victoria has, I think we're actually getting close to 400,000 people now. With this pandemic, we actually have more people moving here kind of to live in a smaller city. We're quite close to Vancouver and also Seattle, which I'll show you a map after this so you can get a better idea. The top three industries in Victoria are advanced technology, tourism, hospitality, and education. One of the great, I think, parts about Victoria is our weather. And I know lots of people think of Canada and they think of snow, but Victoria has some of the mildest weather in the whole country. In the winter, it rarely snows. Maybe it snows 1 or 2 times in a year. And because it snows so rarely, we get really excited. And then the snow, melts and goes away. But you can drive to snow. So there is a mountain that you can go skiing on the island. So you can drive an hour and a half or 2 hours and you can find snow if you want. And then in the summer, we never get too hot. So on average, it's about 25 degrees. It can get a bit warmer. And again, you can drive about an hour, hour and a half, and you can find your 32, 35 degree weather, and a lake can jump in if you want. But overall, it's quite comfortable to live here. A lot of us don't have air conditioning because we don't need it. And as I was saying earlier, in the summer, the days are very, very long. So the sun came up before 5:30 a.m. this morning, and it won't go down till 9:30 p.m. So we really like that. It means there's a lot you can do and you can get out. We're known for being really friendly and just a great general place to live. So this is the map. Canada's in the gray, and then you can see our little island, and in the close-up you can see Victoria, and you can see kind of how close it is to Vancouver and also Seattle. Victoria is the capital city of British Columbia, and the way that you can get between Vancouver and Victoria, there are several ways. When you first arrive as a student, you would most likely come by a commercial flight, and that flight leaves from Vancouver International Airport to Victoria International Airport, and it takes 15 minutes, 15. It is a very short flight. You go up and you go down. The most common way to travel between Victoria and Vancouver is a ferry. And that's what most of us do when we want to go to Vancouver. And it takes about an hour and a half. And it's definitely the most affordable way You can drive onto the ferry, or you can walk on if you wanted to take a bus, and there's a whole transportation network set up to get you where you want to go. So Royal Roads is a public university. We're quite unique. We offer a personal approach to learning and teaching. We help our students gain applicable skills to succeed in their careers, to foster a sustainable future for our planet, and to apply a change-making approach as leaders and innovators. We are an Ashoka U Changemaker campus. We really believe in lifelong learning, and we do believe in first names first. And part of the reason we can believe in first names first is because we are a smaller institution. So we have, a little under 5,000 students, and about 35 students per class. So you really do get to know your faculty and your professors, and they get to know you. 70% of our programs are offered at the graduate level. So today we're talking about master's programs. I think that's a really great environment to take your master's because it's a bit more mature. It's also important to point out that 70% of our programs are also offered in an online or blended format. And this was the case before COVID. So when COVID happened and everybody had to transition into online learning, for Royal Roads, we were actually set up really well for that because we already ran a lot of our programs online. So those programs that were on campus, benefited from all of the knowledge that we had about creating engaging learning experiences online. This is a general overview. The areas of study that we do teach: business, leadership, communication and culture, education and technology, environment and sustainability, executive education, humanitarian studies, tourism and hospitality, and interdisciplinary studies. We are not offering programs to become an engineer or psychology, just to let you know. And we do teach all levels of education, and we deliver on-campus programs, fully online programs, and blended programs. Who is the type of person that studies at Royal Roads and is attracted to Royal Roads? I think it's a really important question to ask, and something important for you to know, because it's not just picking your program, it's picking your institution that kind of matches what you're looking for. So we're looking for people who are curious and passionate, people who want to positively impact society, seeking a program that will give you real-world applicable skills, interested in leadership, collaboration, critical thinking, people who want to learn a learning experience that will help you succeed in a constantly changing work environment. Again, this last year has taught us that we never know what can happen. And so we need to be able to have the skills to pivot. And generally people who are kind of looking for something a bit different. This is an overview of the graduate programs that we offer. I'm not going to talk about all of them. I'm going to focus on the master's programs that are offered on campus. The rest of the programs, like disaster and emergency management, justice studies, professional communication, these programs are offered in an online or blended format, absolutely open for you to apply to if that is the learning experience you're looking for. So today, I will briefly go over a graduate diploma in project management and organizational leadership, and Master of Global Management, MBA in Executive Management, Master of Arts in Global Leadership, Master of Arts in Environment and Management, and Master of Arts in Intercultural and International Communication. So our graduate diploma in project management and organizational leadership is a shorter program. It is at a graduate level, so it does require an undergraduate degree. And it's for those who want to rise to the challenges of managing local or global businesses with this intensive on-campus program, learn project management, leadership essentials to become a better leader wherever you are. This is for people who are mid to senior level professionals wishing to expand their knowledge and skills in the areas of leadership and project management. To give you an idea, some of the courses you would take: managing complex projects, leadership, community, and collaboration in complex environment, workplace innovation, strategy, and culture. This is just a sample. Our whole list of courses you can find online. This program is 8 months. And I just have the admissions requirements there for you to take a look. Something that's interesting maybe for you to know is most of our master's programs do require some form of previous work or volunteer experience. We do have one program that does not require work experience, but most of our students are working professionals or becoming working professionals. We offer an MBA in executive management. So deepen your strategic knowledge of business practices to broaden your influence in the workplace. This program will teach you leadership, analytical, and management skills. And this is for experienced professionals from diverse sectors looking to advance their management skills. Some sample courses include organizational behavior, corporate finance, foundations of strategic leadership, creating customer value, change management. There are specializations with this program, and the way it's set up is that you would take the MBA and then you can choose from quite a long list of graduate certificates that we offer. An example might be strategic human resources management. So there are different ways that you can kind of customize this program. We also will approve the MITx MicroMasters, which are offered online, and they're quite affordable. There are 3 or 4 different certificates that you could choose from. This program is 18 months long. What is unique about this is it is in executive management. So we are looking for students who have at least 7 years relevant work experience with 3 years at the management level. A lot of the reason we ask for work experience is that you're not only going to learn from the program and from faculty, you are going to learn from your peers. And we want to make sure students in the classroom also have something to offer to each other. And so having work experience, we feel, is really important. Master of Global Management, probably one of our most popular programs. Learn to manage businesses across international borders. Using a global lens, you'll refine essential business skills and study how to work with different regulations, ethics, politics, and disciplines. This is for students who are curious about the world. You're seeking a global business perspective to complement existing skills, and you desire international business competencies. Example courses: managing complex projects, corporate and international finance, international business strategies, managing change in global contexts. There are different types of completion options for this program. So you would take kind of your core courses for a year, and then you would finish the program with a global management project, an internship research project, or like the MBA, you can also choose from a list of graduate certificates. In that case, you would walk out with 2 credentials, which is pretty nice. This program can be finished in 12 months, though most students do finish it in 8 months. And this program requires 2 years of work experience after you've graduated from your bachelor's degree. And though it requires 2 years, I would say on average, most students have around 7 or 8 years work experience. So you have students with 2 years, you have students with 20 years work experience. So it's quite a range. And for both the Master of Global Management and the MGM and the MBA program, students do come from all kinds of different backgrounds, from sales, marketing, finance, engineering. You know, it really depends what people's previous experience is and what their future plans are. Master of Arts in Global Leadership. So develop the capacity to lead yourself and others with an understanding of complex global systems, impact the well-being of communities and the planet as you lead organizations and teams effectively. This is for professionals and executives working in a global context who wish to be more globally minded, self-aware, and resilient. A few courses that you do take: personal capacities for working in a complex global system, community development in a global context, project planning and management. You have 2 completion options, so either an applied research project or an internship. This program can be completed in 13 or 24 months, and it does require 3 years of general leadership experience And you need to demonstrate that you do have cross-cultural experience, which is a really important part. Master of Arts in Tourism Management. So the tourism industry is facing economic, cultural, and environmental challenges. Turn these challenges into opportunities while you develop skills in leadership, marketing, and destination development. For students who are seeking the skills and the confidence and strategic vision to lead change in the global tourism industry. I have to say, you know, since COVID happened, I think there's always been a lot of questions of, wow, what's going to happen to the tourism industry around the world? And I would say over the last 6 to 8 months, I have had so many inquiries from students looking to take programs at Royal Roads in both tourism and hospitality at the undergraduate and graduate level. I think there's so many opportunities to revitalize this industry, to change this industry and innovate this industry. So I actually think it's a really exciting time to be a part of tourism. For Victoria in particular, it's a great place to study tourism because, as I showed you earlier, it is the second largest industry. So we do have a lot of cruise ships that come up from the United States and they stop here on their way to Alaska. So that's a big part of it. And we just have a lot of visitors. And during the pandemic, you know, it's been a lot of local visitors. And I think for people who live in Vancouver and what we refer to as the mainland in Canada, we're on an island. So even for local Canadians, it feels like, ooh, it's a little bit, you know, like a destination because you're going to an island. And we also have lots of little islands all around us. So it's a really fun place to study tourism. Different types of courses: tourism leadership, transforming destinations, strategic tourism marketing, sustainable tourism management. There is an optional internship, which I do recommend doing. There are 3 completion options. So course-based, which means you can take courses, major research project, or a thesis. And there are 3 specializations. So social entrepreneurship, disaster and emergency management, and sustainability. The program is 2 years long. And like many others, it does require 2 years work experience in the tourism hospitality industry. Master of Arts in Environment and Management. So in this program, you're going to tackle complex global sustainability questions through leading edge research and on-the-ground practice, build advanced skills in environmental management, communication, and problem solving. So this is for students who are interested in practical environmental and sustainability issues, natural resource challenges, and concern. I think this is one of the fastest growing programs at Royal Roads in terms of enrollment, particularly for international students. I think that it's so versatile in terms of specifically like what type of industry you want to work at. Lots of large organizations have to, you know, adhere to stricter and stricter environmental policies and rules. And I think everybody's waking up to the fact that we do need to be environmentally responsible and sustainable in our business practices. So I think this is an awesome program to take and really future thinking. Samples of courses include the biosphere and sustainability, legal aspects of environmental management, regenerative innovation and management, and environment management tools. You will finish your program with either a major research project or a thesis. The program is 2 years long, and it does require 2 years of relevant work or volunteer experience. Master of Arts in Intercultural and International Communication. So in our big world with multi and intercultural communities, we have very unique communication needs. This program will help you to hone your skills to deliver messages across cultures, strengthen the global community. I can say, you know, working in an international department at a university, and we are trying to connect with people from all over the world. The style, the manner, the tool through which you connect is different in many different places. So I think that this program is very relevant, and as organizations, we're just getting more and more global, and we're trying to reach people in different parts of the world and reach each other at our level. So I think this is a really interesting program. This is for people who want to hone their communication skills for a diversified and globalized world. Sample courses include media relations in a global context, social marketing, strategy communication, international relations and public diplomacy, very important, communication research methods. I'll also point out that communications is usually a pretty writing intensive area to study. So I hope you enjoy writing if you take this program. Completion options are a research paper or coursework. The program is 18 months long, and this is a program that you don't actually, work experience is not required, but work or volunteer experience is an asset. So if you're just finishing up your undergraduate degree and you are interested in studying communications, this is an option for you. And if you already have work experience, it's also a great program to consider. I'm going to try and address through these slides some questions that prospective students often have. So in Canada, when you have your Canadian study permit, you are eligible to work off campus for up to 20 hours per week and full-time during any scheduled breaks. I should mention that most of our master's programs are very intensive and don't have long scheduled breaks. So I don't think any of them you'll get a whole semester off. So you're really looking at the potential of 20 hours a week part-time work. And then when you graduate, you are also eligible to apply for the postgraduate study permit of up to 3 years. So it's a great opportunity to take what you've learned and your past experience that you have in Turkey and apply that to an actual job here in Canada. And then afterwards, there are different types of immigration pathways if that is something you end up desiring to do. How much do these programs cost? So our master's programs are generally all around 32,000 Canadian dollars. And that's for tuition for the whole program. So some programs are 18 months, some are, a full 2 years, but approximately this is the cost. We do have entrance and in-course awards that you can apply for. So you would apply for an entrance award one time, and that's after you have applied, you've been given an offer, you've accepted your offer, and you have paid your tuition deposit, which would make you a registered student, and before you start your program. And then in-course awards are when you already are a student and you're actively studying. And there are 4 times a year that we offer different types of awards. They're all listed online. They're currently listed online. You can go look at what's currently available. Some of these awards do change, from time to time, and you can apply for these awards each time. So it's up to you. Where do you live when you come here? So some students stay in a homestay, which depending on your circumstance, I do highly recommend. When you're moving to a new country, you're about to start a new program, essentially a new lifestyle for a certain amount of time. It's a lot to take in. And the nice thing about staying with a homestay family is they can help you maneuver and make your way through this new city and this new life. Like, where do I catch the bus? Where do I buy groceries? How do I buy groceries? What do people do here? And they'll also cook you your food, which is just pretty nice because you don't have to think about it. And then you start your program and you can meet other students, and most likely you will find somebody, and then you may, go and get a roommate and rent an apartment. I don't recommend renting an apartment. Typically here, you would sign a 1-year lease. I don't recommend doing that before you come because there are different neighborhoods and areas to live in. And I think it's really good to explore the different options and, which makes you feel the most comfortable and which you like to live in. And then for families that come, which is also very common now that, partners are coming with their children, I do recommend booking an Airbnb for a few weeks. And that allows you to get your grounding and to kind of figure out, where you may want to stay. Royal Roads does have some dormitories. They are for short-term stay only, and they are limited. So it is also a possibility. How do you apply? So you would apply online. You'll fill out an online application form, and you'll pay an application fee, and you will hit submit. You will also be required to submit supporting documents. All of our master's programs are going to require a resume, a statement of intent, 2 references, and also a copy of your transcripts. So we can process your application with a copy of your transcript. And before you start the program, we will need to receive your official transcripts in a sealed envelope from the sending institution. So you would submit all those documents by email, and then our international admissions team will look those over. If there's any questions, they will communicate with you. If you have questions, you can ask them. And then after this, they will give you an answer. And so hopefully they give you an offer. And once you receive an offer, you will decide to accept or not accept the offer. And there is a tuition deposit, which is $5,000. And once they receive that, you will get your letter of acceptance. And it's this letter of acceptance that you need to take when you apply for your visa. If, in the circumstance, your visa is denied, the tuition deposit is refundable, minus a small handling fee, I think of $150, something like this, $175. But you do get it back. And if you do get your visa, that $5,000 is applied to your tuition. So it's not in addition to the $32,000, it's part of it. So just to review some of those requirements, which I did mention in each of the slide, but all of our graduate level programs do require a 4-year undergraduate degree. You do need to have a B average in the last 2 years of your undergraduate degree. I think most people, if you look at all 4 years, your GPA might be a bit lower because the first 2 years you're really excited to be in university. And I think the last 2 years you get a bit more serious. So usually that's really helpful for students. And work experience ranges from, almost none to up to, 10 years work experience. And the average requirement is 2 years. For English requirements, we require IELTS 6.5 with 6.5 in writing and speaking and 6.0 in listening and reading. DET is a Duolingo test. So if IELTS centers, I'm not sure, are closed in your country, you can take the Duolingo and we will accept that. Now, if you don't meet this English requirement, we do have English programs that you can take from about a level of 4.5 IELTS and up. We also work with different language schools here in Canada where you can take their English for Academic Purposes program and transfer seamlessly into your master's program at Royal Roads. So there are different options and ways that you can meet that requirement depending on what suits you. These are some of our programs, just to give you an idea: English for Academic Purposes, and you would be taking the 25-hour-a-week program. Now, let's say you don't have the BGPA, but you have a pretty significant amount of work experience. You can apply to Royal Roads through something called flexible admissions. And in this case, the admissions department will consider higher weight on your work experience and not just on your academic grades. This is done on a case-by-case basis. Your application may take a little bit longer to process, but a typical profile is somebody who maybe got C++, maybe even some C's in their undergrad program. And now you've been working for 15 years or 20 years. You're a manager, you're a director, you're running your own business, you're a supervisor. You've gained a lot of knowledge and now you're ready, to go back to school. So we could and we will look at applications such as this. And that is the end of my presentation. So now I need to see if we have any questions here. And I will stop sharing. Okay. Questions. Do you have an architecture major? No architecture, sadly. Although I have had an architect take our Master of Global Management program because he wanted to start his own architecture firm. So, you know, but no actual architecture. September 2021, some applications, some programs are still open. It depends on the program. I do think if you apply now for the fall, it's really tight. You need to leave, you know, several weeks to get all your documents in order. You need to leave, you know, 10 weeks to process those documents. This is a master's program, you know, so it's not like we can just look at your documents and go, yay, you're in. You know, we do give some thought to the application processing to make sure, you know, we have students in the classroom that are going to be complementary to one another. And then you have to apply for your visa. So because of COVID, in general, we're finding the visa processing is taking a bit longer. But we do have programs that start in October. We have programs that start in December. We have programs that start in January. If I were to be totally honest with everyone here, my advice would be to look at programs in 2022 and to aim for that. I think it's more realistic at this point, and things just take time. I will mention on the note of COVID, in Canada, you know, things have been going pretty well with vaccinations. I think at this point, 62% of Canadians have received their first vaccine. In British Columbia, I believe we're now almost 75% have received their first dose of the vaccine. And the case numbers are going down, which is really great. We still have social distancing protocols. We still have mask wearing mandates. And I think we will for some time until everybody can receive a second dose. There are still travel restrictions for non-essential travel into Canada. You can't come, but international students are considered essential. So if you do have a study permit, you will be allowed to enter Canada up to 1 month before your program starts, not before that. And you will need to quarantine and follow the health protocols of the country. If you haven't had a vaccine when you come here, the vaccines are also available to you. So I don't know if anybody has any other questions about COVID-19. Royal Roads is still fully online at this point for students, but we have a number of programs that we're planning to offer on campus starting in the fall of 2021. And I expect by January of 2022, hopefully, we can be fully back to campus. How long is the application and admissions request process for students? So in general, a completed application for a master's program takes 10 weeks to process. A few things that I recommend to have that go as fast as possible. 1, submit your online application. 2, when you submit all your documents by email, submit them all together. Submit a full package. Sometimes what happens is somebody submits the resume. Hey, here's my resume. And then 3 days later, hey, here's my transcripts. And then a week later, hey, here's one reference letter. That just means more emails. It takes longer. So I would say gather all your documents and then submit them as a package. And also go to our website. We're actually quite descriptive in what we're asking you to submit for admission to the program. And some things change depending on the program. So when you have to create and submit a letter of intent, there are very specific questions you're being asked to answer. So go there and look at those. When you're putting your resume together, make sure that you state whether it's full-time or part-time. If it's part-time, make sure you put how many hours. Make sure you have a start date and an end date, because when there is a minimum work experience requirement, the admissions team needs to be able to count how many years, how many months you've worked in those positions. And if you don't do that, that means that the admissions team has to say, hey, thanks for your resume. Can you please update it? So it just makes things go longer and longer. So those are some tips when you are submitting. Do you have any academic cultural sharing scholarships for foreign students. We don't really have specific, in general, scholarships for international students, but we do have scholarships, awards that anyone can apply for. So they are on the website. After this is done, I believe I will have all of your emails. So I will send links to those things so that you can go and look at what they are. And I know we do have an entrance award that is up to 10,000 Canadian dollars, which is pretty significant for helping that. Can graduates work in Canada? So I did share a slide with our programs. You will be eligible for off-campus work while you study part-time, up to 20 hours a week. And afterwards, you're eligible to apply for a post-graduation work permit up to 3 years. So yes. Do you have any dual degree? We don't have any dual degree programs with Turkey, but I would like to one day. I really enjoy Turkey, and I think that is a great idea. We do have a whole department that works on institutional partnerships, and they do work on dual degrees. So in the future, I hope. Do you have any Turkish faculty members? Well, we do have actually, he was a Turkish student and he graduated, and I do believe he's an associate faculty now teaching in the Master of Global Management program. I will leave my email address here before I go. I'm not sure if I'm going to say your name right. Nachati. I'm not quite sure. And so I can, if you want to shoot me an email afterwards, I can look into that for you if you're interested in connecting. How many Turkish students do you have? Not a lot, you know, usually 3 to 5 each year. I find that a lot of Turkish students want to go to the UK because it's close, to Germany because it's cheap, or to the US because it's the US. And sometimes Canada falls off the radar. But I hope to change that. I think, you know, I've spent time in Turkey, and I think that you'd really enjoy it here. Your food is much better, so come prepared to cook. Do you have ESL programs? So we do. So we have short-term language programs for intermediate and advanced level learners, adults. And so we have English for academic purposes, but we also have 1 semester programs like business essentials, kind of like business English. I will send links to those programs also in our follow-up email, but yes, we do. How is the coronavirus pandemic situation in Canada? So I think I answered that question. It is getting much better. I think we have to continue to remain vigilant. I think what is being called the Delta variant, which originated in India, is quite, I guess it's more contagious. And even though, for example, in British Columbia, which is where Royal Roads is, almost 75% of adults are vaccinated with their first dose. I think it's only, I read, 35% effective against the Delta variant. So I think in Canada, we're going to feel a lot better once 75% have 2 doses. But we are getting better and better and better. And in general, Canada's approach has been to, you know, when cases get higher, to lock things down, and even to not encourage travel between cities, and just telling us, stay where you are. And we found that it's been quite effective. So I'm hopeful, you know, we don't have to do that again, but we're doing quite well. And we hope to be on campus in Royal Roads in a few months. And we're already having those discussions about returning to work. I'm still in my house working from home. Do you need a GMAT? Nope, no GMAT. If you do have a GMAT and it's a really good score, go ahead and submit it. It can help your application sometimes, but it's not required. Do volunteer experience help us get extra scholarships? I mean, like working as a mentor on global workshops, attending workshops to help younger people. Great for all the info. You know, there are a lot of the scholarships will ask about what have you done to positively impact society around you. And so, yeah, I do think, being a mentor, helping young people, it's exactly often what you're going to need to demonstrate for scholarships. I also think that stuff's really helpful for your application. When I began, I kind of told you about who Royal Roads is and the type of student that tends to do well here. And I'm sure you heard the words, things like courageous and change making and helping. So if you're already doing those things, I think it sounds like you're already like an interesting fit for perhaps some of our programs. I can already imagine. So I think it's totally helpful. Can you send the presentation? Yes, I will. I will turn it into a PDF and try and make it as small as possible so that it can get through your email, and I will send it to you. I will add in the chat now my email address in case you want to email me before then, but I will be reaching out with everything that everyone's asked, so you can continue to do your research. I'll give you a few more minutes if you want to ask any questions. I would just say, I don't know each of your circumstances. Oh, can you mention about living expenses? Good question. Yeah. So an apartment will range between about $900 for a 1-bedroom or a studio, all the way up to $1,800, $2,000 for like a 2-bedroom. It depends where you want to be. Royal Roads is located about a 25-minute drive outside of downtown Victoria, and it's actually in a community called Colwood. And Colwood is cheaper than downtown, maybe 20% cheaper. And Colwood is close to another community called Langford. So I think it's also, because money, in my opinion, is always a factor, a matter of looking at where you're going to live. I would not call Victoria cheap. We are not as expensive as Vancouver or Toronto or New York or things like that, but we're not cheap. Other costs to give you an idea, like a coffee at Starbucks, like maybe a latte is $3 Canadian. Lunch is probably $15. Dinner is $20 if you eat out. A bus ticket, I think, is $2.50 to take the bus. But you can go 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours with that bus. But it's about $2.50. So, I mean, I think depending if you have a family, if it's just you, if you plan to find a roommate in order to split costs, you're really looking at between $1,500 to $2,500 per month for living expenses. So it's good to plan for that. And again, you will have access to work off campus 20 hours a week. I believe, finally, minimum wage is $15 an hour, so 1.5. So that means the lowest level job, no experience required, you will earn $15 an hour. So also good for you to kind of start planning. And I encourage everyone to use the internet for what it's for and Google jobs in Victoria, look up restaurant menus, look up apartment rentals. Don't just take my word for it. The internet is great for this stuff, and you will really start to understand, what costs are and what opportunities are. Also look up like what's going on. I mean, less things are going on because we have restrictions against events, but do take a look at the pictures and the surroundings. And the island is a great place, especially for people who like the outdoors. You like to go hiking, kayaking, you can go surfing. There are a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of space here, different parks, beaches. We are surrounded, by the ocean. We also have lakes, and then you can go skiing and snowboarding in the winter. So it's a really nice lifestyle. And the other thing to consider is everything is very close. So we always joke that everything is pretty much a 15-minute drive away. And if it's further than 15 minutes, we won't go. And I used to live in Vancouver. I've been to Istanbul. I know how far things are. I know about traffic, and it's not like that here. Sometimes there's traffic, but it's just not the same. So you have to think about lifestyle, what you're looking for, and what some benefits are that you're willing to pay more for or less for. If you're looking for a place that's a party all the time, it is not Victoria. So if you want a really electric city, I'd highly recommend Montreal in Canada, but we're a lovely place to be. Are there any more questions? I think we might be good saying that.
Yes, I think you covered all of the questions, Brooke. Thank you for your answers.
No problem.
All right, we had a lot of questions and you really put effort answering them.
Yeah. So afterwards, I'll just send everybody an email, and I will try also to cover some of these questions again, and then you'll have my email address once again, and I'm happy to connect afterwards. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for your great presentation. We believe it was a really informative webinar for the attendees. And I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Royal Roads University ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için Brooke'un paylaşmış olduğu mail adresinden iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Yarınki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again, Brooke. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone.